And then I stopped. And I wanted to see how long will my body handle without a cold plunge after going every day. And so by day number 2, my stress levels were spiked. My anxiety was spiked. I wasn't depressed, but I was very overwhelmed with the smaller, the most sensitive things. And I was like, okay, let's see what this cold plunge really will change it. Jumped into the cold plunge, jumped out. I'm like, I feel good.
He was talking about the amygdala, which is this little part in our brain that is responsible for the fear. And that's what's going off when we're like, no, we shouldn't get in there. It's the fear mechanism. Now, he also talks about whenever you do something that you don't want to do, but you do it anyways, you're retraining that part of your brain, the amygdala.
We sit a lot behind a screen. We sit a lot behind our computers, so that's damaging our eyes. Red light reverses that damage. I had an older client of ours. She was like, hey, I just went to the doctor's today, and she's been doing red light consistently, religiously every day, because she was doing it for her skin. And the doctor was like, my doctor told me today that my eyes are healing. And so it's got to be from the red light.
Whoa. It's like the famous jiu-jitsu family, Hicks and Gracie. He was like the guy in the family, the main dude. There are a bunch of killers, but he was the one. Well, he wrote an autobiography, and he titled it Breathe. So this guy has all these accomplishments, and what he titled his autobiography was Breathe.
You know, it's not about a religion. It's about our relationship with Christ. When you get into the New Testament and Christ is preaching and he has his 12 disciples, Christ didn't come to build a church. Christ didn't come, in the sense of a building. Christ didn't come to build a religion. He came to create a relationship with the people. He wasn't here to follow the rules of religion. He was here to follow the rules of a relationship. And what's that? Love.
What's going on, Alex?
How's it going?
Welcome to the Humans in Harmony podcast.
Thank you.
Where we learn about the interconnectedness of the mind, body, and spirit. So today we're joined by Alex Manriquez, who is a manager at a biohacking facility. I don't know if that's how you'd describe it, but that's what it seems like to me. And for biohacking, they do all kinds of therapies for the body, the mind, and the spirit. So that fits right in with our niche and the topic of this podcast. So I'm looking forward to diving into that, as well as some other things, some endeavors that Alex is embarking on. So glad to have you here, man.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. I'm happy to be here. Excited, looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Heck yeah.
And it is biohacking. Yes.
Okay,
right.
Sweet. Yeah, so why don't we dive into it right off the bat? What all do you guys do at Arctic Labs?
Yeah, so we offer many we offer a lot of things over at Arctic Labs. One of them being our main point is cold plunging. We offer cold therapy. Not only do we have cold therapy, we have hot therapy. We also have compression therapy. We have, and then it just varies from stretching therapy to physical therapy. We do have a doctor on site who's very great, Dr. Nelson. She is amazing, beautiful person from heart. And so cold plunging is the main point that a lot of people, it's very, very popular nowadays. But it's what truly really got Arctic Labs to what Arctic Labs is.
Gotcha. I mean, it makes sense, the name, right? Arctic Labs, it's cold plunge.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I first heard of you guys as well, was the cold plunge. I'd seen some stories of people doing them, and it looks like a really nice facility. I'm going to have to come check it out.
Oh, you'll have to. It's a beautiful facility. I'd give it a 5-star facility.
Heck yeah.
Not only do we have that, we also have a gym. I don't know if you've seen.
Really?
Yeah, we have 2 locations. In our newest location, we installed a gym, and it's
weights.
Weights, yes sir.
Really?
There's a back rack. There's a bench press. There's dumbbells. We have a squat rack.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's sweet. Yeah, so I've done a little research into these biohacking methods as well, and just experimenting with myself and practicing like sauna use, cold plunge, and seeing how it affects my body and mind. And I'd like to dive into some of that into detail today with you, since you're kind of the expert on it. So
definitely.
Yeah, why don't we start with the sauna?
Yeah, so sauna's personally one of my favorite. We have infrared sauna, which is amazing for detoxifying the body. We also have my personal favorite one is the traditional sauna. So it's the hot rocks where you add water on it. And what's so special about our sauna, we have a brick wall of salt. So it's Epsom salt. And so it's amazing. Sauna, number one, is really great for heart health.
Let me stop you real quick. Well, what's up with the salt wall?
The salt wall is really good for your respiratory system, really good for the skin as well.
So the heat like brings it into the air and you're breathing it in?
Correct. Okay. So when you add the waters, it creates humidity in the room. A lot of people confuse a traditional sauna with the steam sauna. A steam sauna is typically the vapor saunas where you walk in and there's smoke everywhere, or not like foggy. It's foggy, not smoke. The traditional sauna, yes, so there's steam. Right. The traditional sauna is more of a humid environment. So the heat and the humidity extracts the salt from the wall, and that goes into the air, and you're breathing that in. Really good for the respiratory and really good for your skin. Very
nice. I'd seen that at our gym. There's a salt wall as well, and I didn't know what it was for. I thought it was just for looks, but there we go.
It does have a pretty cool look to it, but that's what the salt is for.
Right on. So yeah, I've actually used all three. I've used the traditional, infrared, and the steam saunas as well, or steam room. And I also prefer the traditional sauna. Personally, I like how it gets super hot. There's a plethora of benefits that comes from the heat, but also, I mean, I like the way I feel. I mean, it's relaxing, brings you back, helps with muscle soreness, and then after I'll take a cold shower and it's like fresh awakening.
Oh yeah, it's relieving. It's relieving. I love the traditional sauna for that sense because it gets so hot. It gets to about 180 degrees over at our facilities, and it breaks a really good sweat. It extracts a lot of water weight. So people that are looking for weight loss, which is typically, I do want to say that Arctic Labs is not a weight loss facility. However, there are weight loss benefits and calorie deficit benefits in that sense. So the traditional sauna does really help you reduce a lot of weight loss, and in the water sense of it.
Okay. What other benefits do you get from the traditional sauna?
So from the traditional sauna, you get the benefits from heat therapy, and heat therapy, really what it does, it expands the blood vessels. And so the way I like to explain it to people is heat therapy is good for the health, for the heart, in the sense of your body's working out without having to put in the work. So that's why it's so good to do it after a workout. So what I like to do occasionally when I work out, I implement cardio in my workouts, and I like to do sauna right after, because it's also still working my body. Not only that, it's working my heart overall. So the heat expands, so it's expanding the blood vessels. So that's why the body is working without having to put in the work.
Interesting. Oh, that's super cool point. How you're getting the work without the stress on your nervous system.
Yep.
The stress on your muscles, the stress on your tendons and joints. So it's just the extra finisher on top.
That's right.
And that's how I like to use it as well. After my workout, I'll hit the sauna for 20-25 minutes. And previously, I was going to the cold plunge right after that. Now, I've heard some mixed reviews on that, which I did some research. I was like, what am I actually doing this cold plunge for? And I heard that it can reduce muscle growth if you do it after the workout. Now, I'm not saying cold plunges are bad. That just made me shift. I was talking to a guy about it in the sauna, and he's like, well, that just means you got to do the cold plunge before your workout. I was like, son of a bitch. You're right.
Yeah.
So I started doing that.
Yeah. The cold plunge is really, really good, especially before workout for that sense, because cold shrinks the muscles. And if you're trying to put on muscle, you don't want to do a cold plunge after the gym. You're going to lose all that work. You're going to lose that pump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was just something I wanted to point out, because a lot of people are just doing the cold plunge because it's cool, it's like a fad right now. But why are we actually doing the cold plunge?
Why? That's a really good question, and I love to tell people why. I mentioned earlier, a lot of people think that they're going to lose so much weight, they're going to reduce a lot of fat. Yes, you do see progress in that sense, but that's not the main target of cold plunging. Cold plunging is in the sense of you're doing something out of your comfort. You're doing something that you don't want to. People don't like the cold. I don't like the cold per se. No. But when I do 5 minutes in that cold plunge, when I do 2 minutes in that cold plunge, I'm fighting battles. And so why do we do cold plunge? Number one, for recovery. It's going to reduce all that inflammation. It's going to help the lymphatic system. It's going to improve your health overall. But number two, and should be my number one, and it is my number one, I should say, it's for mental clarity, mental health. Cold plunging spikes your adrenaline and your dopamine levels and your testosterone, that there is no space for depression, there is no space for stress or anxiety. And above all, cold plunging also improves your sleep. It improves your sleep pattern.
Wow. Yeah, the endorphin release.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Is crazy. Like, you come out of there, or dopamine, maybe both. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a mixture of both.
Yeah, you come out of the cold plunge, you feel incredible.
Amazing.
It sucks the whole time through. You getting in, it's like, oh, here we go again. But you tough it out, and then you get out. It's like, oh, it was worth it. It was worth it. So, why do we fear it so much?
Why do we fear it so much? In that sense, it's out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cold, some people handle it well. Women have a really high pain tolerance. Men have a lower pain tolerance. And so we fear it because we don't want to feel that pain. We don't want to fight. When you're in the cold plunge, your body thinks, it's the way I like to explain it is it's like your body is thinking that you're dying. And so your blood rushes to your heart as a source, as a fight or flight mechanism. So as a survival mechanism. And so it's just the way I perceive it, and the way I like to analogize it. Why do we fear it so much? It's because it's out of our comfort.
Totally. And I've heard on a podcast with Andrew Huberman, he was talking about the amygdala, which is this little part in our brain that is responsible for the fear. And that's what's going off when we're like, no, we shouldn't get in there. It's the fear mechanism. Now, he also talks about whenever you do something that you don't want to do, but you do it anyways, you're retraining that part of your brain, the amygdala, and reprogramming it. Hey, this isn't that dangerous after all. And then it diminishes that fear. One thing with that, though, he did say was, as your fear diminishes, you lose those benefits for the amygdala. That's for some things. The cold plunge, I don't get used to. It sucks every time.
Every time.
But there are some people that do get used to it.
Yes, there are some people. I've done multiple experiments myself. I've gone from intensive heat to intensive cold, and I've been able to fight. I mean, my personal record in the cold plunge, people do higher numbers, and we don't encourage above 10 minutes, but there are some people that do like to do 15 minutes, around that time. For me, my personal goal is about 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that theory, where your fear isn't as strong as
you got to push it.
Yeah, you got to push it. So you become stronger, and you do lose that sense of fear.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a guy at the gym, the one that I was telling you I was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
He hits it like 20 minutes at a time. Which I'm like, is that even a good thing? I don't know. It's like, it seems like that's far beyond what you should be doing, but I don't know. He seems to be doing all right, and he seems to like it. So each their own.
It's excessive. It's excessive. Even I believe 5 minutes a day is excessive. Is a lot. It's recommended to do 1:30 a day. So, or 11 to 12 minutes a week. So you split that. It's about 1:30 a day. But then, and truly to really get the full benefits. Above that, you're really just doing it for self-pleasure, and for the people find it very relaxing. For some people, it's very relaxing. For other people, it's living hell. Get me out of here, because I don't want to do the cold anymore. And I'm one of those persons. But once I break those 30 to 45 seconds, I'm like, okay, I can break through this.
Yeah,
I can break through this.
And you definitely build a tolerance up for it.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
yes.
like the first time I hopped in, it was like 20 seconds. I'm like, I got to get out. I can't do this. Popped out. It's like, what the heck, man? I could do longer than that. The next time I got like 40, next time a minute, and then so on. It kept building.
Yeah, you get stronger mentally, and your body starts asking for it too. I've done experiments where I do it every day, and there's a time where I was doing 5 minutes every day, and then I stopped, and I wanted to see how long will my body handle without a cold plunge after going every day. And so by day number 2, my stress levels were spiked. My anxiety was spiked. I wasn't depressed, but I was very overwhelmed with the most sensitive things. And I was like, okay, let's see what this cold plunge really will change it. Jumped into the cold plunge, jumped out. I'm like, I feel good.
Huh.
I'm back to my routine. I'm back. I'm locked in. And then I was like, let's see how much longer I could go without doing a cold plunge. By day 3, I was losing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My body was like, we need that cold plunge. We need
Huh.
that cold plunge. And it's more of a mental game more than anything.
Yeah, it's definitely a mental thing, and like with most things, that's what I like to get down to is the mentality behind it, and because that's ultimately the driver, and that keeps us moving. That the mind, body, and spirit, man. You can't control one without the other, and you've got this triangle. You got mind, body, spirit. You affect one, you affect the others, and it can be positive or negative. So that's a prime example of how you're doing something for your body, the cold plunge. You're jumping in ice cold water. But the main benefits is your mind. So it's just the crazy interconnectedness of the human essence, the human spirit. And that's why I started this podcast, to learn about these interconnectedness, that these interconnected things that we don't really understand, because the human body, the human soul is so complex. And just trying to put some pieces together and understand it better.
Yeah, very much so. Putting the body, the mind, the spirit all in one, you have that trinity. It's beautiful, especially when you're putting your body through that stuff. A lot of people work out, and a lot of people put their body through that tense. But when you do a cold plunge, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different.
It takes you to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My first cold plunge, I did it in Colorado. I was on a snowboarding trip, and we went to these hot springs, and these hot springs were right next to the river. Now, keep in mind, this was the middle of the winter, so there's about 10 inches of snow on the ground, and the river is mostly frozen, but it's got some running parts.
Wow.
So that water, I'm thinking, is like just barely not frozen, just because it's moving, you know? So we're like, okay, let's try it out. Who's going to hop in the river? I was like, I'll do it. So I hopped in there, laid down in it. Holy cow, dude. Just needles through the whole body. And then that water's running too. So that's even more intense. Like, just no thermal barrier, you know? It just strips it right off you.
Whatsoever, yeah.
Yeah, so it was intense. I did maybe 20 seconds. So that was my first cold plunge experience, but it felt incredible. I went back to the hot, so we can talk about that here in a bit. The what'd you call it?
Contrast therapy.
Contrast therapy, yes, going from hot to cold. And I got in the heat, and I felt needles again. I was like, ah. Okay, but then it felt good. And it felt so good, I was like, I got to do it again. So I went back to the river, dunked in again, came back. It felt incredible. And the next day, I was ready for another full day of snowboarding. So
your adrenaline was spiking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the contrast therapy?
Yeah. And so I want to touch base on something that you mentioned right now. May I?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so you mentioned the river. I've done a cold plunge out in Colorado as well, out in Golden, Colorado.
Okay.
And there's a river there. I jumped in, and it was cold. Now, you mentioned something about the currents where it's constantly going, not breaking your thermal barriers. What's so special about our tubs, over at Arctic Labs, is that you see all these tubs marketing. There's off the market, on the market, all sorts of tubs. There's people doing their at-home ice baths. What's so special about our tubs is that there's water constantly cycling the tub. So it's constantly hitting your chest and your feet.
Ooh.
So it's constantly breaking your thermal barrier so that you don't have that opportunity to create any heat whatsoever.
You got like a circulation pump going.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so it's not just water just circling. It's cold water constantly circling. You know, like when you go to the pool and then the water's cold, but then you get close to the water where the water's coming out. It's a little bit warm.
Yeah.
That's not the case here.
Gotcha.
It's blowing cold all the time.
Yeah, and for those that may not know, the thermal barrier, if you're sitting inside cold water and you're not moving and the water's not moving, then this little thermal barrier is like leaking out of you and warming the water around your body. And it helps with the cold because, I mean, there's this little warm layer outside your body. But when the water's moving or you're moving, there's no thermal barrier, and you're just feeling that cold on a deeper level.
It gets you.
What temperature do you guys have?
So we maintain all of our tubs at 45 degrees.
Okay.
There's one tub that we set at 40, but it always seems to drop to about 37, 38.
Woo!
So it's cold. It's cold.
Man,
Yeah.
I've hit some 42s, but that was not with the circulation pump.
Yeah.
So I imagine a 45 with that pump is brutal.
It is. It is. You definitely feel those pins and needles all the time. And yeah, it's really good.
So how about the contrast therapy?
So contrast therapy. So let me define what contrast therapy is. Contrast meaning a combination of. So contrast is going between hot and cold. And over at Arctic Labs, we offer two sources of contrast therapy. One is a hot and cold through sauna and cold plunge. So you sit in the sauna for anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. Some do an hour. And then you want to finish with the cold plunge. And then you go, we also have the other option is contrast therapy in the sense of hot water to cold water. So we have our hot tubs right next to each other with our cold tubs. And so you're just jumping between back and forth. I like to recommend people anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes each if you're doing the water contrast.
Okay.
So go 2 minutes hot and jump into the 2 minutes cold. What that's doing, contrast therapy, like I mentioned earlier, heat expands the blood vessels. And so the way inflammation works is, let me see if I could describe it here. This is your blood vessels right here, and you have inflammation that's getting in the way. I want to show it to the camera right here. So inflammation gets in the way of proper blood flow, and when when the inflammation isn't allowing proper blood flow, there's acids accumulating, there's liquids accumulating, and truly what comes from the pain is not the inflammation itself; it's the effects of the inflammation. So when you sit in the heat, the hot, your blood vessels expand. So it's clearing out all those acids, all those liquids, that painful stuff. So that when you get into the cold, it takes the blood vessels and it shrinks it back together. So it's healing the body on its own to prevent that inflammation from coming back. And so that's what's happening when you're going through contrast therapy. You're
breaking up inflammation.
Yes, sir. That's right. And so there's been many testimonies that I've experienced myself. There's many testimonies that I've experienced through our clients, and one of them being my mom. My mom was involved in a car accident. She got rear-ended, and she had pain for her back for a while. And I said, you know what, Mom? Come try Arctic Labs. Come try Arctic Labs. I was still new to the job, and she was like, well, okay, I'll go have a spa day. And I was like, okay, yeah. That's the way I convinced her. That's the way I convinced her. Because truly, we're a spa. We're a biohacking spa. And I said, Mom, it's just a spa. You're just going to come and relax. She got out of the hot tub. She's like, I need to do the cold. I'm like, yes. If you don't want to have any more pain, then yeah. And sure enough, she came out of the cold and she was like, I can reach down to the ground. I can reach up. Like, her back was so stiff. And I'm talking about, it wasn't just 2 to 3 weeks. It was 3 months.
Whoa.
3 months of just stiffness in the back.
And instant relief.
Instant relief.
Wow.
All it took was 4 to 5 minutes at the most.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Instant relief. Never came back again.
Never came back.
Never came back for that reason, I should say. Never came back for that same pain. She came back like, oh, I want to do it just because it felt so good. And she loves sauna. So the sauna is her go-to.
But that pain was gone.
That pain was gone. Wow. That pain was gone. We have a lot of clients that do contrast therapy. For people, for some people it's immediate pain relief. For other people, it's more of a pain management. There's a lot of clients that we have that have herniated disc or have hip replacement or knee replacements, and they're on a lot of pain medications. And so when they come to Arctic Labs, I'm like, we'll try this. I give them the whole thing, which is compression, and I like to get them in the sauna, and I like to get them in the cold plunge and the hot tub. And so I tell them, this is what's truly going to relieve your pain, the contrast therapy. If it doesn't, then we'll try something else. But if this is it, then we're going to stick to this. And sure enough, there's one of our clients, she has horrible back pains because she's had multiple surgeries on her back. And she comes religiously every day to do contrast therapy. She gets into the hot, into the cold, and she's like, I can't go. She's not on her pain meds anymore. Pain meds that she was taking every day, she's not taking them unless she really needs them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And that's right up my alley because I'm trying to find ways to fix things holistically way before we go to medication. Because a lot of times this medication is only a Band-Aid to cover up your symptoms, and it never treats the root issue.
Oh, yeah.
Which in a lot of cases is this inflammation that you're talking about. That with the American diet, so many of us are just constantly bombarded by inflammation. And if this is a way we can reduce that inflammation just by hopping in some cold water and some hot water, that's pretty profound to me.
It's amazing. It performs miracles. You know, I've witnessed it with my own eyes, and like I listened to Dr. Williams' podcast that you had with her. Great, beautiful podcast, by the way.
Thank you.
I love that interview with her.
She's awesome.
She's a beautiful person, a beautiful soul.
Absolutely.
And one thing that she said that I agree on a lot, and I remember having this conversation when I first met her, was the pharmaceutical industry is not what it used to be, and not to disagree, not that medicine is bad, but I will say that it's not the only source that we have. I always like to go to medication, the last resort. So
absolutely,
contrast therapy has been I don't take ibuprofen, I don't take Excedrin. I deal with migraines. I used to, at least. And whenever I feel one coming, contrast therapy. Let's go, contrast therapy. And so rather than taking Advil or Excedrin, I'm getting in that water.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I've seen one similar to, you said you got the hot tub right next to the cold tub. Yeah. They had one in Colorado. It was like a yin and yang. It was super cool. Yeah. One was hot, one was cold. Yeah. You just climb right over the middle wall. I don't know. That just popped in my mind. Yeah. It was super cool.
We have one of those over at our executive suite.
Okay.
And so it's that duo tub. You have a big old jacuzzi that fits 2 people, and then you have the cold plunge that fits 1 person.
Nice.
And it's all in one. It's all one packet. Huh. People love it. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. So what other services you guys provide? I know you got the red light therapy.
Yes, red light therapy. My buddy Sebastian loves red light therapy.
Oh yeah,
and I do too. It's amazing. Red light therapy is something for the skin, hair, and nails. So it boosts your collagen.
Hair, and nails.
Yes, skin, hair, and nails. It boosts your collagen, so it's reducing acne scars. It's improving your acne, or reducing your acne, I should say. And it's also improving your hair growth. If you're noticing you're losing hair, or you're having trouble with your hair, it's gonna help you with that. And I used to do it every day. I do it about 2 to 3 times a week now. And what I like sharing my stories. So
please do.
So if if I'm straying too far, just let me know. But
I love it.
I always love to share my personal experience, because I feel like sharing your personal experience is what truly is how I understand people as well. So,
totally.
So my personal experience with red light is it's helped with my facial hair. When I used to try to grow facial hair, it used to come out so patchy, and it's like, man, I need to shave every day. I need to shave every day because I don't want all that facial hair. I've started thinning out from stress. I started losing hair. Red light and cold plunge, best combo you could ever do.
Really?
Red light and cold plunge.
What's that look like? Is it like the tanning bed style?
No, the one we have is some panels that you stand in front of them.
Okay.
So you could do the single panels or the dual panels, where you have a panel in front of you and a panel behind you. Our infrared saunas do have a panel in them. So you get the benefits from infrared, red light therapy, as well as heat therapy by sitting in the sauna.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually just got myself a red light not too long ago, and I have seen those exact changes that you were just talking about.
Good.
With my face, I had horrible acne my whole life, and I finally found out it was diet related. Dairy, believe it or not. Crazy. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could dive down, but now that I've figured it out, my acne's gone, but I've got all this scarring left over. So I got one of those derma rollers, like the beard rollers.
Yeah.
And I was also using it for my beard as well, because I was also very patchy. And I was using that, and on my scars, like I was thinking it was like microneedling, you know? And then I was hitting my face with the red light. I got like this little square panel, just holding it over before bed while reading or something. And dude, my scarring is going away and my beard is filling out.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm like, wow.
It's amazing.
Why didn't I get this sooner?
It's amazing, man. It's beautiful what red light therapy, what Arctic Labs offers is beautiful, and one of those is red light therapy. We had a young boy that came in with a rash, and the parents were like, "We just want to try the red light therapy, because we've heard a lot of good stuff about red light therapy." I'm like, "By all means, let's try it." And they're like, "The doctor prescribed him this ointment," and I was like, "Put the ointment on it." I'm not a doctor, We always tell people to go to the doctors first. To speak to their doctors, and then if the doctors, then we respect what the doctor decides. But in this case, the doctor gave him an ointment. I'm like, we're going to do a dual. We're going to combine both, the ointment with the red light. Doctor said give it about 4 to 6 weeks, and the kid, the young boy, was out within a week and a half with no rash, all because of red light.
Whoa.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's very interesting, because I also recently had a staph infection from jiu-jitsu, which is a skin infection. It was kind of getting blistery, and I threw the red light on there, and I also had some ointment that I put on there, but it zapped it first day. Just
There you
Gone.
go.
I was like, whoa.
It
I
works.
was like, well, I knew it was good for skin, so I was like, maybe this will help heal that. I don't know if it was like you said, the cream or the light or the combo, but it zapped it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it could be the combo, but I know the red light speeds up things a lot. Yeah, it's amazing. Stretch marks works magic on stretch marks.
Really?
I have some. I used to have these thicko stretch marks here on my hips and on my underarm, and they're about that thin. They're not thick as they used to be or dark. So they're clearing out.
Wow.
They're clearing out. It
That's
works.
crazy.
Yeah, and I share it because we live in such a cosmetic society where stretch marks are an issue to some people.
Especially women.
Yeah. And so it's good with scarring, stretch marks. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Heard it's good for wrinkles too.
Yes. Our older crowd loves the red light for the wrinkles, and it works. It
Really?
works. Yes.
You've seen it?
I've seen it. Another fun fact that I like to share is red light reverses the damage that blue light causes. So what is blue light? I'm sure you know this, but I'll explain it to you. Blue light is our phones, our tablets, our cars. There's a screen on our cars. There's a TV in the grocery stores. All that stuff. When you're constantly, especially for the people that work in office or students, we sit a lot behind a screen. We sit a lot behind our computers, so that's damaging our eyes. Red light reverses that damage. I had an older client of ours. She was like, "Hey, I just went to the doctor's today," and she's been doing red light consistently, religiously every day, because she was doing it for her skin. The doctor's like, my doctor told me today that my eyes are healing, and so it's got to be from the red light.
Whoa.
She's like,
Interesting. I do have a question about that. Do you guys allow your clients to look directly into the light? Because I know my kit came with like these little goggles, like to not, but I don't use them, and I even look into it sometimes. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I looked it up, did a little research. I couldn't find anything conclusive on it.
Yeah, so it's mostly personal preference. We do have goggles and glasses that we offer to the client, and it's your choice. I don't do it without anything on my eyes. I like
you don't
to,
use the
no,
goggles?
I like to put the light on my eyes. Obviously don't stare directly at the light. I kind of stray away or look down the whole time, but I just make sure that my eyes are still getting that red light.
Yeah, I do the same. And I will glance directly sometimes, just like a little bit. I'm not like staring at it till my eyes go blind, but like I'll look at it a little bit, but because I do feel like it's helping. I don't know what it's helping, but it just seems like it is.
It's amazing. The frequencies of the light and the red light, you feel them. You feel good. I always feel energized whenever I do red light. It always wakes me up. And I think it's just from all that light hitting you. There's a lot of energy. Light is energy. So yeah, it's just energy that you're picking up.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You know a little more about those specific frequencies and why those matter?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Because I know it's like the one I have is 2 specific wavelengths. I think it's like 660 nanohertz and 880.
Yes. So those are the 2 frequencies that I know. But to go more into depth, I'm not well educated in that sense.
Okay.
As I should be. But
yeah, same here. I'm using it.
But I know I've seen those same numbers. But yeah, I'm sorry.
No worries. You mentioned blue light and how it helps reduce the damage from the blue light. This is something that's kind of been new for me, and I recently started wearing blue light blockers at night and even at day because I work at a desk job. I'm an engineer, so I'm constantly in front of computer screens all day long. I'm also a content creator. I'm on my phone, so I'm getting blasted by blue light all day long. So I got these glasses to at least protect my eyes. So I'm wearing those at work, and then at night, once the sun goes down, I throw my red blue light blockers on. They're just a red tint, but they're blocking the blue light. A lot of people are like, "Man, those don't work. What are you doing with that?" And I was like, I can tell the difference. So one of the main things, this I haven't really felt, but our bodies have different processes that we do during the day and during the night that have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years. And it's based on the circadian rhythm with the sun. So our bodies know when the sun's up, we're in our daytime mode, we're doing daytime stuff, and then when the sun goes down, we're in this like recovery mode. Well, when we're constantly being bombarded by blue light, the screens, all that, our bodies don't know when it's time to go into that recovery mode, and it's reducing our recovering capabilities. So that's why I'm throwing the blue light blockers on as soon as the sun goes down to help my circadian rhythm to get kicked in. Hey, it's time to wind down, get ready for bed.
Yeah.
And that's the part I can see the difference is like, when you get up in the middle of the night, you got to use the restroom, you flick on the lights and they're like blinding.
Yeah.
I got that similar effect because I'll put the blue light blockers on. My eyes are fine. But when I go hop in the shower, I take them off and those lights are a little overwhelming. Like kind of like when you wake up in the middle of the night. I was like, okay, they must be doing something then.
Yes.
And I have seen improvements in my rest and recovery.
I'm a big believer on those glasses. Huge believer. I have a pair of my own. These aren't particular, but the ones that I carry in my backpack for school and the ones that I keep by my nightstand, I'm a big believer on those glasses because your eyes, you only get 2 pairs. Like you only get one body. Why not take your chances in something that's gonna make them last a little longer?
Absolutely, and I love what you just said right there. We have one set of eyes and one body, and so often in this world today, you see people, man, I want a Lamborghini. I want to buy a Lambo, That's like what all these people are dreaming. Well, shoot, I want to become a Lambo. I want my body to be a Lambo. You got one body. Our health is priceless. You can't put a price number on it. Like, it's invaluable because you only get one, and some changes are irreversible. So that's why I like to do the best I can to protect my body and help my longevity. And that's where this biohacking comes in, the diet comes in, the workouts come in, the mentality comes in, because it's all helping propel your body into this future and increase your longevity.
Yeah. You only get one body. I'm a big pusher on that. So why not take your chances with doing a 2-minute cold plunge, 3-minute cold plunge? Why not take your chances doing a 30-minute sauna session or 2-hour sauna session in a week, And that's the way it is. We only get one body. We got to take care of it. We have to take care of the body we have, which diet's a big one. Your diet's big. A lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, some people use the facilities to burn calories, which you do burn calories. But then how many calories are in the McDonald's you're buying right after,
Yep.
How many calories are in that Whataburger you're picking up on your way back home?
Yep.
You gotta build that discipline between every aspect of what you do, taking care of your body. And you mentioned it: diet, health, fitness, and biohacking.
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of the trifecta right there for the longevity and for the body aspect. And again, to the biohacking, it's like I would much rather give that a try before hopping on meds. Because again, I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. It's a Band-Aid. That's not the main issue, though. A lot of times these Band-Aids come with side effects. So you're taking it to help you with this little pain, but little do you know, you're blowing out your kidneys and your liver or causing some other issue with your body. And we've seen all the commercials, all the list of the side effects at the end of the promotion. Like, it's crazy. So that's why I'm like, let's try to fix it holistically. If you absolutely can't, then let's go to meds. But even then, there's something that's causing your issues. And from my journey, a lot does come down to diet. So much.
Big time. And hydration.
I've healed my acne, eczema, allergies, asthma.
Wow.
All with diet. Now, it's unreal. I don't even believe it still. Like, this whole year I was in denial. Like, I got a little stuffy nose right now, but before I'd be like completely congested, like can't breathe. And I was like, okay, let's test it. Let's see if this is true. We'll see when the fall comes if I'm still stuffy, because you got the leaves falling. Nothing. I was like, okay, interesting. Let's see when the spring comes. We got the wind and the pollen. If I'm good in the spring, then it's gone. So sure enough, well, last spring, I was pretty dang clear, man.
Wow.
Pretty dang clear. And I think it's all comes down to diet. I cut out all the crap, the inflammation causing foods, seed oils, a lot of the carbs, the breads. I'm not against bread, but most of the bread in America is poison.
Not good.
It's poison.
Yep.
So yeah, got that out of there. And then alcohol.
Oh,
I quit alcohol.
good.
Dude, so much better. So much better.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting one because a lot of people are like, man, you must be boring. But it's like, once you get to the point where you don't need alcohol to have fun, it's like, I realized how much of it was just, it was like I was carrying a burden. Like, it's just like a weight on me, dude. And now I wake up fresh on the Saturday mornings. I have a whole day now. I'm not hungover. And the reason I did it, it's like, hey, I'm cleaning up all these areas in my life. Why am I drinking all this poison on the weekends, you know? So, yeah. So that's been a huge change, too. But like you said, hydration, diet, cutting out the alcohol has changed my life. Yeah. Changed my life in the health game.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful. A lot of people don't understand how poisoning alcohol is. I've experienced it myself. I've seen it through other people, and it's crazy the amount of inflammation alcohol causes. Not only that, when people drink, it's not just drinking. You know, it leads to binge eating. You know, going out late night parties, and what's next? Late night food. What kind of food is out at 2 a.m? Not the good stuff. Not the good stuff. Yeah, and so it's amazing.
You're wrecking your gut with the alcohol, and then you're wrecking your gut with the junk food. You're just destroying your gut, which the gut is so important, as we're just finding out.
Super.
Controlling our emotions, our mentality, our mindset, dopamine release. So much is coming from our gut. And if we're eating all this junk food and alcohol that's destroying our gut, we're going to feel like crap.
You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. Yeah. And just take an investment. It's investing in yourself when you cut all that stuff out. It's not easy, you know.
No, it's not.
Some of us do struggle with letting go of certain things, but when you let them go, I mean, you got to know.
Oh, yeah.
When you let it go, you're like, I can conquer the world any day. And so that's that feeling in that cold plunge. I can conquer the world.
Yeah.
I can conquer the world. And when you do that, our facilities truly implement psychologically the discipline you need to cut those out. And so I used to be a huge caffeine addict. You know, I was dry scooping about 2 scoops of pre-workout. I was drinking X amount of coffee. I was taking those big old Red Bulls and downing them down with pre-workout. And it's like, looking back, I'm like, this kid wants a heart attack. This kid does not want to live a long life.
I've been there.
And so
I feel you.
When I started feeling the effects of how dehydrated I am from all the caffeine I'm taking, and how truly I'm waking up hungover from caffeine, not even from alcohol, because I wasn't consuming alcohol, I was mostly consuming caffeine. It's not a good feeling. But what truly helped me fight the addiction of caffeine, because it truly was an addiction.
Absolutely.
Was that cold plunge.
Really?
That cold plunge.
That's your wake up.
That's my wake up. That's my wake up. Don't give me coffee. I'll take a cup of coffee. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I'll have an energy drink here and there about 1 or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
But that cold plunge really does get you going.
Yeah.
I used to work as a server at a local restaurant, and it was late nights. And so there I go with my big old Red Bull.
Uh-huh.
And so I remember going to Arctic Labs for the first time, and I told the guy behind the counter, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a Red Bull after this cold plunge. Why are you gonna do that? He like, you ever come in here with a Red Bull, I can't let you do the cold plunge because your heart rate will not be able to tolerate the caffeine and the cold at the same time. And I was like, what? I can't have caffeine. I can't have caffeine. And so I was like, okay, I'll take the challenge. He's like, he challenged me. I challenge you to do a cold plunge before you go into work and see how you feel. I got out of work. It was a late night. I was coming out almost 1, 2 in the morning around that time because I was working night shifts. And I'm like, what's next after work? All because of a 3-minute cold plunge.
Wow.
Yeah. So it helps.
No, definitely. And I do the same. I don't do an actual cold plunge every morning, but first thing I do is I hop in a cold shower.
Yeah.
And it's a similar effect. It wakes me right up. You get that endorphin release. It's not as intense as a cold plunge, but it sucks every time. I never want to do it. I still do it anyways, hop in, and it wakes me up, and I feel better. I feel like I accomplished something first thing in the morning. And yeah, with the caffeine, this is all tied in together. It's like the way these things are interconnected. We're talking about the blue light blockers and your circadian rhythm. Well, the caffeine also plays in huge with your circadian rhythm. And from what I've seen is, I mean, coffee is okay. But some people do have an addiction. And like, of course, I don't do the energy drinks anymore.
Right.
But one thing with the coffee or the caffeine in general, first thing you wake up, I've heard from what I've researched, first thing you wake up, you should not be consuming caffeine for the first 90 minutes, because that's gonna override your circadian rhythm, and right away you got the drugs kicking in, keeping you up. Yep. Whereas if you wait the 90 minutes, you let your body naturally get that circadian rhythm going in, get some sunlight on your eyes, it's going to help your body start functioning properly. Instead of just relying on a substance to keep you moving, you're relying on our body's natural circadian rhythm, the natural biology that we're built with to help carry us through the day. We're designed to have energy. We're not designed to require caffeine to keep us going through the day. So that's just another one of the aspects that there's all these different ways that it ties in, you know. You got the caffeine, the blue light blockers, the protecting your gut health, and rest, sleep. It's all interconnected.
I love the way you said that, Jared. We're designed to have energy, not to consume energy. I love the way you said that, because truly, you don't consume energy in a cold plunge. Your body does it all on its own. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Yeah,
it is amazing.
I love that.
Heck yeah. Is there any other biohacking thing you want to hit?
Our oxygen therapy is really great.
Okay,
oxygen therapy. Really, what it is, it's around 95 to about 100% pure oxygen that's generating in a tank, and it fills up. It's like about 900 I think more than 900 liters. I could be wrong there, but it's pure oxygen. And so what you do, you're doing some sort of activity, whether it be walking. We do have a couple of weights in that room, so you could be lifting some weights, or we have a rower and a bike. My favorite one is the bike. So you get on that bike, you're cycling and taking in pure oxygen as you're letting out the dirty oxygen out. And so really what that is, it's really good for the brain health. It helps recover from any traumatic brain injuries. So if you had any concussions or anything like that involving brain injuries, it helps heal that brain. And science has also shown that it helps prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. Reason for Alzheimer's and dementia is because of lack of oxygen to the brain. And so you're getting on that bike, taking in 100% pure oxygen to 100% of your body. And so you're giving oxygen from the cells in your brain to the cells to the bottom of your toes.
Wow.
It's beautiful. And secondly, it's also been proven, and I've seen it with my own eyes, it helps your athletic performance. You're an athlete. You do some pretty cool jiu-jitsu, and you get out there. So if you want to try it out, Jared, come on over. We'll get you we'll spike your performance through that oxygen therapy.
Heck yeah.
There's a couple of we had a couple of one of the local basketball teams, and one of the basketball players, he was like, "Do you have anything that'll help me with my performance?" I sure do. I sure do. But he was like, "Oh, come on, oxygen's gonna help me." I'm like, "Well, let's try it out. So I did my own experiment with him, and he was like, "Dude, I just came back from my game, and I was on the court the whole time. The coaches had to pull me off to take a break. There it is, oxygen therapy and cold plunging."
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you absorb it? Is it like a face mask, or
it's just a face mask with a breathing hole? And
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Oxygen and the breath.
Yes.
So profound.
Huge.
And there's so many levels that dives into the breath. I mean, the way I first learned about it was from a jiu-jitsu guy, actually. He's the greatest of all time. He's old now, but he had a record of like 300-0.
Wow.
And this is like actual fights.
Wow.
And he was just showing jiu-jitsu's capabilities. And I don't know if you've heard of the Gracie family.
I have not. No,
okay. It's like the famous jiu-jitsu family, Hickson Gracie. He was like the guy in the family, the main dude. There are a bunch of killers, but he was the one. Well, he wrote an autobiography, and he titled it Breathe. So this guy has all these accomplishments, and what he titled his autobiography was Breathe. And in there, he talks about how important the breath is and how it provides your energy, again, your stamina, can calm you down, suppress your adrenaline, your adrenals, your nerves. And it's had such a profound effect on me. Just learning how to breathe.
Yeah.
Which is, it sounds funny because it's like, yeah, dude, everyone knows how to breathe, buddy. Well, like, no, do you? I was like, I don't know. I was breathing wrong before. And it sounds weird, but let me explain it real quick.
All right, let's hear it.
Whenever I was breathing in, I was sucking in my stomach. Right. So instead, whenever you breathe in, you want to let your belly expand. That way it gives room for your lungs to expand like a balloon. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people, when they breathe in, their stomach pulls in. And the way he described it in the book was it happens as a natural reaction to when the babies are first pulled out of the womb. Sometimes they spank them. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it causes that gasp.
Yeah.
And it creates that rhythm, that incorrect rhythm. So that's an interesting point. But anyways, it took me 25 years to figure out how to breathe right. Yeah. So you let your belly out, expand whenever you inhale. And whenever you exhale, you pull your diaphragm in to compress your lungs and push all the bad air out. Which brings me to this next point the next profound point that he brought up, which is whenever you breathe, you need to get all the bad oxygen out, or the used up air. Yeah. Not the bad oxygen, the used up air. You need to get it all out. So you completely empty your lungs. That way your next breath is a pure, fresh breath of fresh air, and you can utilize that whole thing. Whereas if you just do a half exhale, your lungs are still half full of used up air. And then you breathe in on top of that. Now it's only a half breath. Yeah. So that was so profound. And I've seen it work in practice in jiu-jitsu. Just if I focus on my breath, I can recover way quicker. And if I focus during the match, my stamina lasts way longer. Yeah. So I can only imagine if you're pumping yourself with 100% oxygen, it's just like, whew, let's go, baby.
Let's get it going. And that's the key. Coming back to the cold plunge, that's the key to the cold plunge, your breath. And so we do some breathing exercises, especially if it's your first couple times, so that you know your breath controls your body when you're in there. So you know how to breathe in through the nose, and breathe out through the mouth, and it's that process that'll get you. So you want to cycle the breath in and out, and extracting it all out. You need that musician's breath.
Hey, heck yeah, musician. Yeah, we'll definitely hit that. But real quick, you made me think with the breathing in the cold, Wim Hof.
Yeah,
sure you heard about him.
Great guy. I love watching his videos.
Yeah. He withstands freezing temperatures for crazy periods of time without his body temperature changing, like not even 1 degree.
It's crazy, and
he maintains it with his breath.
With the breath. So
yeah, there's power to that.
It's all in the breath. And I'm a man of faith, or you could say a guy of faith. And so if I can speak a little biblically here,
please do.
Permission.
Please do.
Man started with the breath. Genesis writes he blew into the man. And so it starts with the breath. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
That's powerful. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to dive into that here in a bit. I mean, mind, body, and spirit. That's a huge aspect of the human essence, the human soul. So I'd love to get some Bible verses in here.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So real quick, though, let's hit the musician first. I hear you're a musician.
Yeah, I am. I'm a man of many traits when it comes to music.
Okay.
I can pick up any gig at a church and I'll be able to help. My strong is the saxophone. I play the saxophone and I love the saxophone. The saxophone is my passion.
Dude.
I can't live without the saxophone.
It's an epic instrument. One of my favorites.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. It's just, you feel the emotion in a sax, dude. Yeah. You can like hit it. Yep. Yeah. I play guitar, so I can I understand the music passion there, but a saxophone, that's awesome.
Guitar is cool. The guitar was my first instrument.
Really?
My first instrument. I've grown up in church my whole life, and so my mom used to be in the choir, and my brothers started in sports, and like, oh, they're going to be in sports because they were super hyper. little kid's hyper. And my mom was like, well, what's he going to do? And I was like, I want to do music. I want to do music because it's just a passion. She was like, well, what do you want to play? Guitar. Guitar. Yeah. It's beautiful. What guitars do you play on? Or is it electric, acoustic?
Electric and acoustic, but I play mostly electric.
Nice.
Yeah.
What guitar do you play on?
I got a Les Paul, Epiphone Les Paul.
What color?
That's my baby. It's a Silver Burst.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's my baby for sure. I've got a few guitars, like 7 of them, 8. But I can't put that one down. It's like, I
don't blame you.
Don't blame you for sure.
What kind of guitar do you play? Stylistic wise?
My favorite band is Tool. I play a lot of Tool.
Good choice.
A lot of Tool. I started off with classic AC/DC, and then Metallica, little Guns N' Roses. Just music I liked growing up, And then once I was able to play Tool, that's mostly what I've been on now.
You played all the music that was banned from Guitar Center.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Totally.
Nice. Do you play anything else other than guitar?
Not good. Not good. I got a keyboard, but I'm just messing around with it.
Oh man,
I'd like to learn piano.
We're gonna have to jam out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me a little bit more about the sax, dude.
Yeah. So the saxophone. I picked up the guitar when I was 8 years old, and I stuck to the guitar, and then I started singing at church. Little boy at the choir.
Nice.
And then from there, I started playing the piano. And so from there on, my mom's like, hey, you're going to be in band. You're in middle school now. And I was like, yeah, I want to play the saxophone. She's like, really? And I was like, yeah. I remember when I was younger, my mom was like, I used to play the saxophone, and I would listen to her as a little kid. I would listen to her tell people, oh, the saxophone is a beautiful instrument. I love the saxophone. Nice. So shout out to my mom. I'm playing the saxophone for her. Inspiration. That's right. And so I picked up the saxophone in 6th grade, and I haven't put it down since then.
Wow.
I didn't take it super serious until I got to college.
Really?
College really is very demanding, especially when it's your degree. My whole life, the saxophone and music was just a hobby. Just pick up the saxophone here and there.
Yeah.
I'll play in marching band. I'll play in the jazz band. And when I got to college, they're like, no, this is what you're doing. And it's like, I was like, okay, but it's just a hobby. It's just for fun. They're like, not in this case. You're studying this, so you need to dedicate your time to it. So
what do you mean you were studying it? Was that like your major? Or?
That's my major. Yes. So my major is music education.
Okay.
And so how are you? And then I remember my professor telling me, how are you gonna teach a kid something you don't know? Ooh. How are you gonna help a kid something you don't know? Ooh. There's a life lesson in that too. But
yeah.
And it hit me. It clicked me. I was like, oh man, I got to get serious about the saxophone. And since then, I love playing it. Anytime anyone invites me to play, I'm there. But I mostly play it at church, where it's just a beautiful sound. In the worship team, it's a beautiful sound.
Okay. So what do you love about it now that you're deep in it?
Jazz. I love jazz. Classical music is beautiful. I love it. It's amazing. But the language of jazz, it's like no other.
Really?
Classical music, I'll interpret it this way, and it's probably not the best way. So sorry to any musicians that are out there listening to me. I don't mean to offend anyone. But the way I perceive it is classical is English,
Okay.
English, you have certain interpretations of English, but at the end of the day, English is English. Jazz, on the other hand, you have all sorts of interpretations. Jazz is a combination of swing. You got swing, you got Latin music, you got funk music. There's just so diverse in the style of music that you could play in jazz. Truly, jazz is mostly swing and all that good stuff. Count Basie, Parker, the classics. That's what defines jazz. But when you go out there, if you want to jump into a band and they're playing funk music, hey, well, here's a chord progression, jump in. And you got it.
You fit right in.
Yeah, you fit right in. As opposed to classical music, it's beautiful in the aspect of joining a symphony and playing. But then the style, breaking between classical and jazz, it's two completely different worlds. And yeah.
Where jazz has all these little subsections that intercross.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Yeah, when I think of jazz, I think of groove.
Groove, it's exactly what it is. You got to feel the groove.
Yeah.
That's what you're feeling.
And I definitely get down to some jazz, but I don't play it.
You don't play
and
it.
I think I want to, man. I get some groove going. I could use it.
You'll get it.
My rhythm needs some help.
If you can play some metal and rock, you can play some jazz.
For sure.
Definitely.
I just need to do it.
Let's do it. We'll do it.
Let's do it.
We're gonna do it.
My dad actually played the sax, and he would talk about it as well. Very similar to your mom.
Wow.
So now, after you told me about it, I'm like, shoot, maybe I should get one, or get one for my dad. I don't know. I feel like it'd be cool, but that's a whole nother realm, like using your breath.
Yeah. Using your breath. It takes a lot. You're not filling up the chest with oxygen. You're not breathing into. Musicians are mostly mouth breathers because you got to take in through there. I'm learning to not be such a big mouth breather. So when I play, but I still need the air when I play. But so musicians, the musician's breath that I was mentioning earlier, you breathe from the bottom. You expand the waist, fill it up. So you want to think of those big inflatable donuts that you go to the pool with. You want to picture you want to inflate that around you from here. So you're gonna go. And that's why it's really big on marching bands, because marching bands takes a lot of air, and you want to fill the stadium with sound. And so how do you get that sound? From here, from the diaphragm.
Nice.
As opposed to breathing in, you got to expand
the
body with air.
Yeah, that's huge, because, I mean, if you got a note, you got to sustain.
Mm-hmm.
You need that breath to keep going. If it runs out, you lose your note, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Breathing in, filling up that donut.
Fill up the donut.
Yeah. It's a nice analogy.
It's big. It's a good analogy. I love it. Did you I like to record occasionally.
Okay.
So my degree, I'm still in school, full-time student as well. My degree is specifically education and music. And so I do teach. I started a school of worship over at my church in El Paso, Texas. The church is called Pacto Viviente. And so I've got little kids from different ages, the youngest being 5 to the oldest being 18. And they're all there in the same band playing together. We got drummers, singers, guitar players, piano player, bass players. We got a choir.
That's cool.
We got percussion. And so it's amazing. It's amazing. Music is a language that has no barriers. There is no language barrier in music. You play whatever music you play, you're going to agree. If you understand what C is in music, C is universal all around. Yeah.
Nice. That's super cool. And seeing those kids, I bet that's a beautiful sight, and helping out with that.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's super fulfilling.
They make me proud.
Heck
they make me proud.
Heck yeah.
Definitely.
That's super cool. I've loved music since a young age, and once I learned how to play it, it gave me such a deeper appreciation of it. Like, now I can hear anything, any style, any genre, and be like, oh, okay. It's like, I see what they're doing there. That's cool. And it gives me a new appreciation for the music that's already out there, and inspires me to make some of my own.
You let me know. We'll get writing.
Heck yeah.
We'll get writing.
For sure, man.
It's beautiful. There's something about music, and if I can get a little more biblical,
please,
faith-based here, music is a heavenly thing. The Bible expresses a lot about music, and King David, the psalmist, was a great musician, and through his talent, he was able to bring peace to people. And there's just my philosophy in this is that music connects heaven and earth. That's my philosophy. And so that's why there's such peace. That's why music is so expressive, whether you're listening to jazz, whether you're listening to worship music, whether you're listening to classical music, you're expressing a certain thing.
It makes you feel a certain type of way.
That's right. There's power in music. And so
totally,
that's what you're expressing through.
That's a great point. And yeah, like that's why we listen to it, because we like the way it makes us feel.
Yep.
So yeah, there's definitely something to that, connecting us to the heavens.
That's right.
I like that. Yeah, there's definitely some notes that just absolutely sound heavenly.
Yep.
Some harmonies, like ooh, heck yeah. Yeah. Well, you mentioned it a couple times. The Bible and spirituality sounds like it's a huge role in your life.
Big role. I'm on the weekends, on Sundays, I'm a teacher. I teach preteens, so I'm a Bible study teacher, and then I'm also a leader in the worship team. And I'm just I try my best to be very well faith-driven, faith-based driven. And so, yeah.
Where did that start?
It started when I was 8 years old.
8.
Yes, I grew up in church pretty much my whole life. And I've just always had a passion. And I think mostly was because my mom implemented that passion on me. I remember seeing how happy my mom used to get to go to church. So I'm like, there I go. If you haven't noticed, I'm a big mama's boy. I'm a big mama's boy. My mom is a big inspiration in my life. And so I believe her passion for God and for church really rubbed off on me. When I was 8 years old, my mom was my Sunday school teacher. And so it was a challenge for her because I was like, Mom, what about this? Mom, what about that? Well, if God did this, why did he allow this? And so I challenged her.
Nice.
In that sense. And as the years go by, I continued my faith with Christ and I continue to share the good word, the good news. There was a time where, like every other rebellious teenager or college kid, had a small slip, and I had a rude awakening. Like, hey, those aren't your morals. That's not where you come from. You got to wake up, come back to where you came from. Take care of your health. Take care of your health. It all comes down to taking care of your health.
No, totally. I mean, if you're not healthy, then you can't connect with your spirit.
That's right.
Because you're too busy dealing with your aches and pains and your sickness, and there's no room for your spirit to be nurtured.
Yeah.
For your spirit to be nurtured.
There's no room. There's no room. That's why fasting is a big deal. I'm big on fasting.
Oh.
And intermittent fasting, 3-day water fast.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, try doing 3-day water fast with sauna and cold plunge every day.
Ooh.
Gets you.
I've done it once. I didn't do the sauna and cold plunge though, but man, I felt incredible.
Yeah.
That second day, I was expecting to be like weak and hungry and tired. I was bursting with energy, like crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Yeah. The way I've heard it explained is kind of similar to the cold plunge. It's your body goes into that fight or flight moment, like, hey, if we don't eat, we're gonna die, buddy.
Yeah.
So it goes back to your survival instincts. So your body kicks into overdrive, like, hey, we got to get some food.
Yep.
But that's another thing. It comes down to the discipline to be able to control your mind and say, hey, we're not really hungry.
Yeah.
It's just a food addiction.
Yeah. It's all it is. And then not to get too controversial, but in today's diet, it's a chemical addiction too.
Oh,
in many sense.
Yeah.
Huge chemical addiction. Red 40, all that stuff, and chips, candy.
Well, some of these food companies literally hooked people up to these brain scanning machines and saw which chemicals lit up which parts of the brain, and they added that to the food so it would cause addiction.
No. No.
Crazy.
It's sad. It's heartbreaking.
It's sad. It's
heartbreaking.
But just having that awareness and knowing it's out there, then you can start to think for yourself and make these decisions appropriately. And fasting, so much power comes with that, like the discipline that it takes to tell your body, no, hey, we're not going to eat. And there's also some biblical references, many biblical references of fasting as well. And I don't know about you, but during my 3-day fast, I felt different, like a little more, I don't know how to describe it, like more in touch with my spirituality.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the food chemicals distracting you, like weighing in on you. It's just your pure essence. Yeah. I don't know.
It's beautiful.
Have you felt that?
Every time. And I loved it, especially when I do 3 water fast and I'm doing sauna and cold plunge. I'm listening to worship music. I'm reading my Bible, and the connection between my spirit with the Father and the Son, it's amazing. It's out of the ordinary. It definitely makes your spirit stronger. Definitely does make your spirit stronger.
You're making me want to try another one soon.
Let's do it. We'll do it together.
Heck yeah.
This time I'm getting you in that sauna though.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Okay. And the Bible references about fasting a lot. There's, and there's different sources of fasting. There's the Daniel fast, and Daniel fasted in a different way. He didn't eat any meats, any dairies. He was all straight organic food. And then there's the way that Jesus fasted, which was 40 days without food, just water. And so I believe now in society, there's many other courses of fasting that we can do. There's that social media. Social media is a big one, big distraction.
Social media fast.
Yeah, social media fast.
Whoa.
It gets people.
That's a good point.
It gets people. But when you get through it, you're like, whoa, when you're going through it, you realize you're like, I need my phone.
Yeah.
Then once you're going through the process of fasting from social media, you're like, I had not realized how much time I spent on my phone, how much I really needed my phone.
The addiction.
It
It
the
really
dopamine.
is. It really. Oh yeah.
Dopamine.
You see those likes. It, boom, boom, boom. Dopamine hit.
Keep it going.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the casinos. Ding, 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 ding.
That's what it is. It's our phones gambling with our focus,
Our well-being.
our well-being.
Yeah. Taken
Well-being.
away from what really matters.
That's right.
It's that connection.
That's
At
right.
the higher level, the spirit. Yeah, that's pretty profound right there. I also do intermittent fasting. You do any of that?
I love intermittent fasting. My sister got me on that one. She was like, you want to lose weight good and you want to be healthy about it? She was like, do intermittent fasting. This is how it works. And so, yeah, I've had my best physical and mental and health through intermittent fasting.
Totally.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for like 5 or 6 years now.
Wow.
Maybe longer. But I like it because it gives your digestive system a chance to recover.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your gut's always processing food. It never gets a break. And that's another huge one while you sleep is you shouldn't be eating right before you go to bed because your body will either digest or recover. It can't do both at the same time. So if you're eating late, you're not going to be resting as optimally as if you let your body digest before you go to bed. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I was guilty of that, working late nights at the restaurant or just working late nights. There's no chance of eating. There's no opportunity to eat. So you know what? Once I get home, I'm gonna eat everything I can see.
Yeah.
And then you eat, and there I am going straight to bed. And then the next morning, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Well, now it makes sense, like.
And you wake up tired.
Yeah, you wake up tired.
Need the energy drink,
mm-hmm.
and the cycle continues.
The cycle continues. So let me ask you this: How do you break your fast?
Usually with my lunch.
Your lunch?
Yeah.
And what does that consist of? With protein, carbs? What does it consist of?
Here lately, this past year, I usually have ground meat, whether it's deer, elk, oryx, or beef. I prefer game meat because I'm a hunter, so it's a lot cheaper. You got the meat there.
There you go.
Might as well eat it. And also, it's the purest meat available.
Yeah.
These animals are living out in the mountains, eating grass and bushes. Like, there's no hormones added, no steroids, no corn and soy that's blasted with chemicals. Mm-hmm. So it's just nature's pure food. And that's one of the things I love about it. And sorry, I'm going on a little tangent
No.
here.
By all means.
But it's like it's another level of connecting with the food. Whenever after you go hunting, it's like God provided this animal to nourish me and my family. And right before I eat it, I say grace, and I just feel like that food absorbs so much better into my body than something that you go buy at the store. Yeah. So that is usually how I break my fast with game meat, and I'll either have potatoes or sweet potatoes with it, maybe an apple and avocado.
Wow.
Throw some raw honey on there.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah.
That sounds good. The freshest meat I've had, and I love it, is goat. Goat. Have a buddy out in Mexico. He has a ranch, and the way they cook their goat out there, a lot of sodium for sure, but it's delicious. But I ain't
got nothing against sodium, by the way. I think it's unjustly demonized.
It is. Sugar, on the other hand,
that's the problem.
Sugar is the problem.
And they blame salt for the problem sugar's causing.
Yep.
And fats.
Because if salt was wrong, we wouldn't have a salt brick in the sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, that's interesting. I always ask people how they break their fast.
How do you?
I avoid carbs when I break my fast.
Nice.
I have thick bone genetics. We'll put it that way. So I gain weight pretty easily when I stop taking care of myself. And I love bread. So if I'm eating one slice of bread, I'm eating 2 or 3. So I usually take my greens, fresh greens, or I'll have my protein source on its own, some eggs, and then later on in the day, like 2 hours later, I'll have my main course, which is source of protein, whether it be red meat or white meat, and then with my carbs and veggies.
Nice.
I'd rather drink my veggies than eat them. I have a hard
Interesting.
time with like, it's just, celery takes forever to chew.
For sure. So you did mention that, and that's how I break my intermittent fasting. However, whenever I do like longer fasts now, I haven't done a 3-day, but I've done 24 and 48-hour fasts. And the way I break it with those now is I'll come back with a potion. Right before I bring in solid foods, I'll start with a potion. What is a potion?
What does it consist of? What does it consist of?
Usually some types of teas, like yerba mate or chamomile or green tea, and then I'll add some other stuff in there like turmeric, ginger, cloves, cinnamon, just a whole bunch of these like herbs and spices that have healing values, healing properties. So that's the first thing that I reintroduce to my body after the fast. Because what's the point of your fast if you go 28 or 24, 48 hours and then you come back with a McDonald's Big Mac? It's like you wasted your fast.
You wasted.
So, of course, I always come back in with good food. But here recently I started coming back with the potion because it's like your body hasn't had anything for a while, just salt and water. I do salt. I don't know if you do salt. Okay. Yeah. And then bring it back with liquid. So it's reintroducing some other things, but you're still in that fasted state. So it's just absorbing those benefits. And then you come in with the food. And so I've done that the past 2 or 3 times and really loved it.
I'm going to have to try that potion of yours.
Yeah, dude. I'll send you the ingredients.
Send it over. What I do is ginger with cayenne pepper and cinnamon. Oh, cinnamon, spicy. Cayenne is good.
So many benefits.
So many, but and then I'll mix it with some pineapple or some pineapple juice, or just drink it straight with some honey and lemon because it's spicy. That ginger, cayenne is like.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of juices, you brought me some juices today.
I sure did. Yes, I sure did.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So that's my company that I'm working on. It's called Live in Water. And so I took my faith and I based it into what 1 Corinthians talks about, and that is our body is the temple of Christ, and we got to take care of it. And we, like I mentioned earlier, we have one body, and so that's what my juicing company targets is taking care of your body, taking care of yourself. A lot of people like me don't like eating their vegetables, don't like eating their greens, don't like eating their fruits. So you know what I do? I'm gonna put it in a bottle. People love things in a bottle, so
that's true.
Why not put it in a bottle? And what I brought you there is our Feel the Beet. So that's our beet juice. It's a combination of beet, red apple, ginger, and pineapple juice. And so that one I love ginger. I love ginger. So that's the batch I made for myself this week. But I brought that to you. So if it's a little spicy, it's the ginger.
You got it.
The ginger. And then right there, it's more of a refreshing juice. It's kind of like a Mexican candy drink. Yeah, by all means, yeah. That's pineapple orange with cayenne pepper.
Wow.
It's good, isn't it?
Delicious.
It's good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Thank you.
And I love that it's all whole food ingredients.
Yes, it is.
Because nowadays you got all these juices in the store loaded with garbage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sugar, all these extra added preservatives, food colorings, you name it. Here we got whole food ingredients.
Whole food ingredients. I
love that.
And they truly won't last long, like the ones at the store. I've looked into as to why they don't sell actual fresh juice, and so because it doesn't last long. If it's organic, the lifespan on it is about three days. I give it about 4 to 5 days. That's my take. That one's fresh. I just made that one last night.
Okay.
So and then I just made this one this morning.
Okay.
But so the FDA, I believe it was the FDA, does not approve sales of fresh juices, and I might, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong, and someone might want to fact check me on that. But without the proper preservatives and ingredients for it to have a shelf life.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so at
least just put the shorter shelf life on there.
Yeah.
But I get it. You got the mass production. You got them shipping. It's going to go bad by the time it gets to the store.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think, local farmers maybe.
Yeah, that's your best bet. Farmers market.
Farmers market.
How how can people get this?
They can find me on my Instagram, or they can find the Instagram of the company. It's at Livin, Livin Water. Livin Water. So that one's really good by all means. Yeah, that I love taking that one before the gym. Gives you a good pump. It's really good for your blood. Red is for blood. You know the concept. Green is for gut and stuff like that. I love that one before the gym.
I haven't heard that actually.
Really? Oh no, really? Yeah. So it's like
definitely spicy.
Spicy, isn't it? Yeah. It typically isn't spicy. I like to make it a little bit on the sweeter side for other people.
It's not bad though.
But since I love ginger, I put too much ginger in that.
No,
It's good. Good. I'm glad you liked it. And so this one right here is the sunrise, the pineapple one. That one's more like a refresher after a long day of work or running. I like to drink it, especially after running. It refreshes your palate.
Hey, speaking of potions.
There you go. Speaking of potions.
It's pretty sweet, man. No, I dig it. And anything with whole foods, that's right up my passion, you know. That was the biggest change in my health journey, was switching to whole foods, cutting out all the ultra processed garbage and eating one ingredient foods.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to see people promoting foods like that in our community, because I think this is what we need to bring back health in America.
Yeah.
Is one ingredient foods. None of this laundry list of freaking ingredients. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So beautiful, man.
Yeah, and that transition is hard. Going from like your old diet to whole foods, it's a hard transition. I remember when I first started transferring over to whole foods, I definitely stopped eating out. I definitely stopped buying food at the groceries. You know, the microwave food, just heat it up. And there's a lot that goes into those plates. I mean, you put it in a microwave plus the stuff that goes in it. It's probably not the best. Not the best.
Not to mention, it's usually in a plastic container.
Yep. Yeah.
Just heating that up, leaching the plastics in.
Microplastics.
Yep. So, yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
And that switch is difficult, especially because, one, you need the awareness, and then you need the know-abouts to know, hey, what's good and what's bad. And then having the discipline.
Yeah.
Having the discipline. Well, for me, man, it's just so many people ask me, because I eat 2 meals pretty much consistently. Steak and eggs and potatoes, or eggs and bacon.
Yum.
Yep.
Yum.
And people always ask, how do you not get sick of that? I'm like, well, one, I feel incredible. So that is enough already. And then 2, it tastes great. I don't get sick of steak. What? And eggs? Come on.
Let me talk to them. If you get tired of steak, let me talk to you.
Exactly.
Speaking of steak, how do you get yours cooked?
Oh, come on now. The only way to do it. Medium rare.
No.
What?
No, you got to eat it rare.
Okay. All right. At least you didn't go like
no.
charbroiled.
We don't. I got a buddy that loves it very cooked, and we're like, we go out to eat.
Can't do that.
We go out to the steakhouse, and they're like, and how would you like yours? And well, just bring him a hockey puck. Bring him what's under the grill.
Yeah. I will do a filet rare.
Okay. Yeah.
At a good restaurant, I'll get a filet rare. But everything else I do medium rare.
That's valid.
You get a ribeye rare?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard if you cook the steak too long, you lose some of the nutrient profile.
Yeah.
As well as the juicy and flavor. Like,
of course.
Come on, man. What are we doing here? No one wants a chewy steak.
No one does.
A dry, chewy steak.
No one does.
Yeah, there's some.
Well,
those people need to get checked.
Hey.
Just kidding.
Hey. We all have space for them in our hearts.
Yeah.
No, I love my buddy, but we do pick on him a lot whenever we go out to eat.
You have to.
We're like, just bring him the hockey puck. Bring him the hockey puck. Yeah.
For sure. I feel like you got a couple more Bible verses on hand, ready to fly.
Oh, man.
What are some favorites?
Do you have any?
Let me think.
So
favorites is tough. You know?
Okay. Let me ask you this: how's your journey? In your faith, how did you?
I was born and raised in a Catholic family. So I went to church since I was a little kid, and all the way up until college. Moved out on my own, so I kind of distanced myself from the church, stopped going to mass, and then, college experience, alcohol and whatnot, So there was that, but I always had God in my heart, I was always a man of faith, and that was my driver still. Even though I wasn't going to church, I still prayed and felt that connection with God. Now, I went to Dallas, my first job out of college, and I was kind of missing that structure, that time to dedicate to developing my spirituality. So I started going back to church, and there I was reconnecting with my faith, the Catholicism, and then I had another split where I was like, It was around COVID. I was seeing like these evil forces at work, and I was like, okay, maybe Christianity isn't the only religion and the only path to salvation, and there's these different forces. You've got some evil forces over here, and you've got the good forces over here, and then there's like this gray area in between. And I was like, maybe Christianity is just one element in the side of good, and there's all these other religions that are playing a role too. So I was like that for maybe 6 months to a year. I was like, But then I realized, hey, who is Satan attacking the most? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There's no other religion that gets attacked like Christ.
Yeah.
So that to me was like, okay, I need to be behind the number one team of the enemy.
Wow.
So that brought me back to Christ, and now I'm back in Catholic Church.
Wow.
And yeah, I enjoy it. It's an hour. I can see where people get turned off by the church, but for me, it's an hour dedicated to developing my spirituality and building my connection with God. And when else do you get a dedicated hour?
Yeah.
So that to me is why I like to go to church.
It's like that gym. It's like the cold plunge.
It is. It is.
I always tie back. You don't have 3 minutes. You don't have an hour for church.
Yeah.
But you have an hour for this. You have an hour for X. And man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I also started this other endeavor.
Okay.
Which I'd never read the Bible cover to cover. So it's my goal to do that. And I'm about a quarter of the way through. I'm on just wrapping up numbers.
Numbers. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You're getting there.
Yeah. So that has been really cool. Seeing how the different stories are interconnected on another level. Because, of course, you got the readings in church, so I know a lot of them already. But reading them myself, and I'm reading it out loud, so that way I understand it better. Because sometimes I'll be reading in my head, and I'll start just glazing over, But when I'm reading it out loud and trying to pronunciate it, it helps me understand it better. And it's powerful. There's so much wisdom and knowledge built into that book. It's like, it's not a book about religion.
It's not.
It's like a rule book, a guide to prosperity.
That's what it is. And I love that you said that it's not a book about religion.
No.
Religion is man-based.
Man-made, yeah.
Man-made, and and I love how you mentioned how everything interconnects.
Totally.
From timeline to timeline, from the timeline of when the creation happened to the timeline of Moses, and you have the timeline of your numbers. So who's in that?
It's Moses.
Moses.
Yeah.
You have Abraham.
Abraham. I loved that story. Yeah. That one left a mark on me. I was like, ooh.
And
you call for the journey.
Call for the journey.
Take on the adventure.
Beautiful. You have Aaron that comes after Moses. And touching base, it's not about a religion. It's about a relationship with Christ. When you get into the New Testament and Christ is preaching and he has his 12 disciples, Christ didn't come to build a church. Christ didn't come, in the sense of a building. Christ didn't come to build a religion. He came to create a relationship with the people, and that's why the Pharisees, and I don't want to overextend here, but that's why the Pharisees were so upset, because he wasn't here to follow the rules of religion. He was here to follow the rules of a relationship. And what's that? love, passion, careness.
Wow.
You know, and you mentioned evil forces right now, and there's many different sides that you could take. You know, there's many different religions, many different philosophies that you could go about. But you know the beauty that our Lord gave us, the beauty of the gift that our Lord gave us is faith. We don't need to know or believe in God to have faith. That's the beauty of that. You know, to have faith is to believe without seeing.
Yeah.
In other words, people manifest what they want, and some of those people don't even know who Christ is, but yet they get what they want because of the gift of faith.
Wow.
And so, yeah, you have many different. I don't want to target any specific religion per se, but you have the power of faith. You have the power to express and see it come to your hands. However, we also have the power on who we put our faith on. Do you want to put it on yourself, or do you want to put it on the higher end? Yeah,
that's powerful.
It's beautiful.
Powerful.
And so I'm glad you had that revelation within your spirit and yourself where you know what? The devil attacks Christianity a lot more. So who's got to be the winning one here? Who's got to be the right one here? Yeah.
It just made sense to me, man, because there's some things you can say evil doesn't exist. There's no such thing as good and evil, which I've heard that perspective, and I can see it. But there's some things in this world that is just pure evil. There's no doubt about it. Like child sex trafficking, like, come on, bro. There's no way that you can justify this as not evil.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then, of course, there's some things that are more horrendous than others. But during that COVID time, it was so clear to me. I was like, there's evil forces. There's a force of evil attacking us.
Spiritual warfare.
Yeah. Totally. And that was my call. Like, hey, you need to get back and work on your spirituality because we're under attack.
Wow.
We're under attack.
We need you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where I felt my call. And that's why I like to talk about God and my spirituality on social media and whatnot, just to spread it out there and say, hey, look, guys, this is what it has done for me. Like, one of the biggest things is it's taken off most of my stress.
Wow.
Because anything that I'm worried about, I just say, okay, give it up to God. I got to be prepared and do my best, but at the end of the day, God's going to take care of me. Whatever happens is meant to be, and I'll deal with it when it comes. I got laid off in my job in Dallas.
Wow.
Yep. Came out of nowhere. The company hadn't had layoffs since the 90s. Nobody was expecting it. I got this new boss recently, and we were going to meet each other. So we're meeting to have our one-on-one. Keep in mind, I'm in Dallas, away from my family, friends. I'm out there on my own. I've been out there for 3 years working for this company. Things were going good, so I thought. I'm in this meeting, this one-on-one with the boss, the new boss, and I get to her office. I was like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. She's like, yeah, let's, maybe we should go somewhere a little more private. I was like, oh, okay,
no.
Sure. So we go to this other room. We get in there. She's like, I hate to do this, but you've been laid off.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Really? Like, whoa. She's like, do you need anything from your desk? Like, you're not allowed to go back. I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Like, she's like, yeah, you're going to be escorted out directly from here. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Okay. So, yeah, it was 9:30 in the morning. I'm standing in the parking lot, jobless. Like, just what the hell just happened? But believe it or not, I get home after that. I had my son with me at the time. I was not stressed. I was like, this was part of God's plan, and I know he has something lined up for me. Yeah. I'm just going to start applying to jobs, and I know what's meant to be is going to line up. And sure enough, dude, the way everything came together for me to move back home to be closer to my son with a dream job, with higher pay, better coworkers, like better work, it's just the way things worked out was unreal. Wow. There's no way it didn't have divine intervention, dude.
Wow.
So that was just like a testament to my faith. I was like, oh, that gave me that reassuring, like, see, this is what happens when you trust God. And that has left an impact on me for sure.
You understood that God had a plan.
Absolutely.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Absolutely,
it's beautiful.
It's been an important part of my journey.
Wow.
Yeah, just learning to let go and give it up to Him and say, hey, I know you're gonna guide the boat, but I'm still gonna row. So here I am rowing. I don't know where we're gonna end up, but I trust and I believe.
And it's hard. It's hard to trust, especially I like to believe, and it's been implied to me a lot growing up, that the male instinct is to protect and provide, and to take control. That's my aspect of it. And if I take that analogy, truly we are meant to be in control. Like we want to. Yeah, man. Like it's scary, but when you let go and you just paddle, man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. The good Lord provides.
The good Lord always provides.
Yeah.
The good Lord always provides. It's learning to trust Him, trust the process. I remember when my mentor, my pastor, Pastor Mo, he used to always tell me, trust the process. I would get so frustrated. What do you mean? Like, things can't happen like this. And he's like, just trust the process, buddy. But it's because you're not understanding. Just trust the process. And now as I'm seeing the end result, I'm like, look at that. When you trust the process, you're trusting God's plans in your hands. And it's so easy to want to jump in and say, you know what, I'm going to do what I want. For a long time, when I was a bit rebellious, I was like, I'm going to be a saxophone player, and I'm going to make it big, and I'm going to start recording, and I'm going to start playing at gigs at bars and here and there. And all it led to was frustration, stress, depression, quite frankly, arguments with people that can't solve your problems, because I was expecting for someone to solve my problems, when truly I hit rock bottom and it clicked. I'm trying to do this myself. I can't be the one driving the ship. I love that analogy. I just got to paddle. And let the captain steer the boat.
Heck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal your analogy now.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Yeah. Any Bible verses?
Ooh, man. I'm not going to get it exactly right, but seeketh and you shall find. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that one, I like that.
What? How do you translate that to your life, if you don't mind me asking?
Basically, or the way that resonates with me is like, whatever you're trying to find, whatever you're trying to accomplish, if you really put your mind to it, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Maybe not how you see it's gonna work or exact how you want to force it, but it's gonna come into fruition somehow, some way. And I truly believe that. It's like, if you set your mind to something and you believe in yourself and you trust that God's going to make it happen, it'll happen.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. Yeah. And that's the part that we might get frustrated with, is like, hey, I want it now. But another part of my journey is like, hey, maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe God has some trials and tribulations to form the man that you're supposed to be when you're ready to take on that gift that you're wanting.
Wow.
So that one is a big one for me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Seeking you will find.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's beautiful. You mentioned you had a kid?
I do. I have a son. Yeah.
How old is he?
11.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Oh.
Amazing. Made me realize that's my main purpose in life.
Wow.
It's to have kids and raise them.
Wow.
Dude, it's another level. Like, I mean, I had him when I got pregnant at 15.
Wow.
Had him at 16.
You were young.
Yeah. So the beginning was a little chaotic. I mean, unplanned, like, just let's figure this shit out. But after, it's been this whole evolution. I mean, I'm growing up still, raising a kid, trying to grow up together, but trying to pass on all the good things that I've learned without passing on the bad has helped me grow in ways that I can't even imagine. I wouldn't be half the person I am today if it weren't for my son.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's propelled me in ways that I can't even fathom.
That's beautiful.
It is, man.
God's plan.
God's plan. Exactly.
God's
That's
plan.
another one, dude.
Yeah.
Like the way it happened, condom broke, plan B failed.
God's plan, man.
God's plan.
God's
He was
plan.
meant to be. He was meant to be.
Life is beautiful.
Yeah.
Children, beautiful. I love working with children, and that's my passion. I want to work with elementary kids, and
Heck yeah.
and I do it at church. It's my passion, man. My sister had a baby. He's now 3 years old, and that kid's our world. I mean, you see my Instagram.
Yeah.
Looks like he's my kid, but
Yeah.
it's just my nephew. A lot of people are like, "You have a kid or you have a son?" I'm like, "No, that's just my nephew." And they're like, "Well, looks like he's your kid." I'm like, "No, I just love him and dearly." Like,
That's
definitely.
a good thing, man. That's a good thing.
And now that I'm engaged, I can't wait to get married and start growing a family of my own. Yeah,
It's amazing.
I bet.
And I can't imagine having the family unit, because we split up maybe like 3 years after he was born, but we've made it work. We've done a good job at co-parenting, but I can't imagine like having my son full time with like a loving family, dude. Oh my God, like that's a super unit. And speaking of the forces of evil, I think that's what's under attack most.
Family.
Is the nuclear family.
Yeah.
Like the family nucleus is under attack, and because that is where we have the most strength with the family unit, and that's where the enemy comes in and tries to attack it and split up the families. And there's so many avenues that is causing that, but I think it's so important that we have families.
Super important. And you hit it right on the dot. The enemy doesn't like family. The enemy doesn't like unity. That's why there's so much division nowadays in society, because when there's unity, there's an army. There's strength. There's power when there's unity. And so I'm not much into politics, nor I get into it, but I do notice division in many aspects,
Oh yeah.
We have family, friends, government, and it's like I think we need to understand to unite again and find how can we unite? How can we meet in the middle? Fortunately, that's not the case now.
Yeah.
But
no, definitely. They split us up, white versus black,
mm-hmm.
Republican versus Democrat, and the most sinister, man versus woman.
Yep. Yeah.
They point us at each other and make it combative, and it's like when you have a man in his masculine role and a woman in her feminine role united, it's the most beautiful harmony to exist.
Yeah.
Now we have men that are becoming feminine and women that are becoming masculine. It's not matching up.
It's not.
It does in some cases, don't get me wrong, and that's perfectly fine, but for the vast majority it's not working.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not.
And it's fine. Like you said, but it's not working. It's not, and it's
you
sad.
see the division.
You definitely see the division, and now they trade it as toxic masculinity,
toxic masculinity,
and quite frankly, there is such thing. I've witnessed it for myself, but I think it's understanding place and your position in life, not as a female, not as a male, not as a government leader, not as just in life. What is your position in life?
Can you unpack that a little?
Yeah. So what is your job? I mean, the Bible uses a lot of references or not references, but the Bible uses a lot of characters. So there's male. He used a big. The male in the Bible has a big role, but it's not only the male. There's females. There's Ruth. There's Mary. The woman that gave birth to the Son of God. I mean, that's a great role, and it's just understanding like, what's your calling in life? Some men are called to go out to the fields and work. Other men are called to stay at home and provide or just shelter the family. But
your calling.
What is your calling?
Yeah.
What is your calling?
What is your calling? How do you find that?
Ooh, how do you find your calling? Experience, and that sounds very, very short, very but let me elaborate a little bit. Your experience of what you get involved with will show you your calling. For the longest time growing up, I was born with a cleft lip, and I wanted to be a plastic surgeon my whole life. What do you want to be for life? What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor. What kid doesn't want to be a doctor, you know?
Yeah.
But in my case, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon to provide the needs that people that are born with necessities and recoveries, I would be able to provide those. As I grew up in the world, not the world aspect, but the music environment, the world of music. And what is my calling? My calling is music. My calling is to be a kind person, to respect others and love others, despite of what they do and who they are. You know, that's what Christ did. I mean, you have the Good Samaritan. Christ didn't stone the woman. You know, he gave her an opportunity. We have to be ready to give an opportunity to others. We have to give an opportunity, because if we didn't have an opportunity, who would have given us that opportunity? I don't want to go off in a ramble, but to touch base back into unity, you know, church is not just a building. Church is the people. The Apostle Paul describes it very well. Church is you and I. Church is the if you're looking in the aspect of a church is the ladies that clean, the gentlemen that are taking care of the parking. You know, we are the church. There's church as the aspect of a building, yes, where we gather and we unite. But what will truly bring unity is understanding that we only have ourselves.
A community.
Community brings unity.
Oh, the calling. That's the Abraham, the call for the journey.
Yeah.
You go experience things, and then you find your true calling. You say, you go try something. Hey, I like it or I don't. And then
experience.
If you don't like it, try something else.
Experience.
And yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Help you find your true calling. You go try something.
Yeah.
Go try something. You won't know until you try.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people, they're stuck in high school or college. I don't know what I want to do in life. Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Some do, but they don't truly know until they actually do it. And that's how you find out. You actually do it.
Yeah.
So take on that journey, go try it, and maybe you'll find your calling.
Or there's people that do know or think they do know what they want to do, but when they go out there, they're like, whoa, this is not what I wanted to do.
It's true.
So you got to find something else. It's your experience. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're dabbling in the entrepreneur field.
A little bit, yes, a little bit.
I tell me a little bit about that.
So, I like I mentioned earlier, my juicing company, it's gonna be mainly based of a private company. So people place in their orders weekly, and I have them ready for them, and I'll drop them off, or they can pick them up. And so the juices just provide nutrients, vitamins, all the stuff you need. My favorite, ginger, turmeric, and black pepper with orange and lemon. Those ginger shots are amazing. They wake you up. And so those are big sellers. I sell by the bottle, or people want the gallons, and I'll sell the gallons. And I try to make it as efficient for people to get. I believe it's challenging to get to the sources of taking care of your health. And so what better way than going through private and just being like, hey, this is what I want. What do you recommend? As opposed to, you can go to your local juice bar, there's nothing wrong with them. There's some great juice spots here in town. But the person behind the counter, how much are they going to help you with what you're looking for your needs? You're dealing with inflammation. Well, let me help you with this. You're dealing with gut issues. Let me help you with this. I also own a vending machine company, which was just handed to me. I was blessed to take over the company.
Very nice.
And so I've got those around town, and those keep me busy. Keep me busy. Yes.
How many vending machines?
I've got 5 of them.
Sweet.
5 of them.
Yeah. I've heard of them, but I'm not quite sure how that business works. I imagine you just stock them and cash out.
you just stock them, and you keep. The way I do it is, there's money, but money isn't truly the full meaning of life. You just stock them, use that money to buy product. It's a whole cycle.
It's a resource.
It's a resource. Yeah. The downfall on that is people don't like healthy stuff. So when I put in protein bars in there, when I put in the keto stuff that's gonna help them, I have noticed that it's like their last resort.
Really?
But I mean, hey, we'll help habits one way or another.
I think there's a shift coming.
There is.
I think there's a shift. There's an awakening happening. People are starting to be aware of the poison that's in our food and the chemicals that are causing our addiction. And I think there's going to be a huge shift in these next 5 to 10 years of people starting to be more conscious of the foods they're eating.
Yeah.
So we might have a healthy vending machine in the future.
There you go. Yeah. And so my vending machines are mostly health based. So they're healthy snacks.
Nice.
They're healthy snacks. The name of the company is Southwest Vending.
Sweet.
But yeah, and then I manage Arctic Labs as well. So I stay pretty busy.
Pretty well rounded there.
Yes,
you
sir.
got a lot going on.
A lot. On top of school, it's not easy, but it to a sense, it gives me purpose.
Yeah.
Gives me purpose.
I don't think you'd be able to accomplish all that without it.
That's right. That's right.
Because that's a lot. That's a lot. You're on full grind mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And what about you? What do you do?
I'm an engineer. Mechanical and aerospace engineer.
That's right. Wow.
Working on mechanical design. It's mostly what I do now. Building like computer units.
Nice.
Best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
On air.
Nice.
But
nice.
Yeah, it's super cool. It helps satisfy my problem-solving brain. I like puzzles. I like critical thinking and solving problems. So that's right up my alley. And I work with some great people, which makes it really nice.
Yeah.
But I do want to build some I do have aspirations for some entrepreneurial endeavors in the future. So I don't exactly know how it's going to play out. So again, I'm going to trust in the good Lord.
There you go.
And when the timing's right, the plan will reveal itself. And I'm just preparing myself in the meantime, doing all the studying and the research and preparation. That way I'm ready when the opportunity comes. So we'll see. Nice. But that's why I like learning from entrepreneurs and seeing how they got started and learning from them so I can apply it when my time comes.
Definitely. And it's not easy, but it's also not hard.
There's different types of hard.
Yeah. It's challenging. I'll give you that. There's sacrifices that you need to make, If you're big on the gym, maybe you're going to have to miss the gym once or twice a week.
Yeah.
You might not be able to get the same rest you got yesterday because you got to prioritize this and that. Yeah.
For sure.
The commitment. I also help a buddy out at a gym, at a CrossFit gym where I work out. Perilous. Love the spot. Great spot to work out.
Nice.
Love it. Yeah. You work out?
Oh yeah.
You work out?
Oh yeah.
You keep mentioning the gym.
Yeah. I normally did 3 days a week.
Okay.
Non-negotiable. Never miss a day.
Nice.
And here this past year, I switched to 2 days a week. That way I could do more of my favorite activities like jiu-jitsu and yoga.
Nice.
So I've built my program around being able to hit the full body in those 2 days and still build strength.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really efficient. And I've got people on programs.
Nice.
So those I give out for free. And I've had some incredible transformations so far.
Nice.
But I usually start them off on 3 days because they need to learn the routines and the workouts, and it's hard to be efficient with the 2 days just starting out, So once they get all the workouts down, if they're interested, shift them to a 2 day.
There you go.
But it works well for me because I got an active lifestyle. So I'm still getting physical activity through jiu-jitsu, yoga, hiking, hunting, so snowboarding. It's everything I do is active. So that complements the workouts. And also the workouts complement that. I train for athleticism and mobility so I can perform at my best during those activities. That's the most important aspect to me.
Nice.
It was a shift because before I focused on strength training. Well, I had some injuries and I couldn't focus on strength training anymore because my elbow has not healed from a jiu-jitsu injury. Got an arm barred, hyperextended it, popped my tendons.
You're gonna have to get you on some therapies up there.
Might have to. Might have to take you up on that.
There you go.
So yeah, dealing with this, I had to develop a whole new training style because I couldn't lift heavy anymore. So I had to lift lightweight and learn how to make lightweight feel heavy with proper technique and learning the core brace and how to really isolate these muscles. And again, I think it was a blessing in disguise. It sucks that I was injured, but I've learned so much because of this injury about my body and these lifts that blessing in disguise.
There you go.
I just hope it heals someday.
You come to Arctic Labs.
Let's see if you guys can fix me up.
Yeah, we'll get you on some therapies. Definitely get you on some therapies.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to go train sometime.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, where do you train at?
Well, I train do CrossFit.
Okay.
CrossFit mostly. And then I'm trying to find a split at Perilous. It's called Perilous. Or I shouldn't say CrossFit. It's more like functional fitness.
Okay.
So it's really close to CrossFit, where it's that high intense working out. Here in town, Perilous. Cool. It's called Perilous Gym. I'm trying to find a split between doing the functional fitness, the heavy lifting and the cardio stuff with more weightlifting. I'm trying to find a split where I go one day here, one day there, one day here, one day there, between isolating muscles more just weightlifting.
Nice. The rest day.
Rest day.
Crucial.
It is. I'm not good at it, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I heard about your 4-hour sleep schedule.
I'm not proud of it. Yeah, some nights run all the way to about midnight or 1 in the morning.
And you wake up at what time?
Wake up around 4 a.m. Yeah, I'm not proud of it. But I do take naps. Take naps, and those ginger shots get me going.
Heck yeah. No, I was the same way less than a year ago, maybe 2 years. But I thought sleeping was a waste of time. And I need to get some more stuff done, so sleep can wait. But my mom kept telling me, she's like, hey, you need to sleep better. I'm like, yeah, sleeping's overrated, Mom. I can get this stuff done.
Oh, man.
All right? I'm young. I got shit to do.
Got to get it done.
Yeah.
Got to get it done.
But her words of advice were slowly creeping in. And now I've been working on my sleep.
It's good.
And I've noticed a difference.
You said you do that red light before you go to sleep. How has that affected you?
You know, I was wondering. I was like, is this going to mess up my circadian rhythm? But I don't think it does.
It doesn't.
I don't think it does.
It doesn't.
I haven't. If anything, I've noticed better sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did look that up because I was like, I'm wearing these blue light blockers, then I'm taking them off and blasting my face with red light right before I go to bed. Am I like killing myself here? What's going on? But no, apparently the red light doesn't disrupt the circadian rhythm like the blue light does.
Not at all. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I haven't noticed, and it has been an improvement because what I do now is I'm trying to eat earlier, trying my best. I need to figure something out though, because by the time I get off work, get to the gym, get home, cook, it's 8:30, 9, sometimes
it's late,
10, which is my bedtime. So I'm trying to figure something out, maybe eat before the gym or something. So I'm still experimenting there. But another thing I'm doing is I've got a set bedtime now. I'm not playing video games before bed anymore. Good. So, and instead of scrolling on my phone before bed, I put my phone away and I read the Bible.
Good.
With the red light. And that just helps me wind down, and I wake up fresh, which I'd never done before. Nice. So that has been nice, and I will challenge you. Hey, whenever you can wake up on your own, it's a different feeling of good energy.
So I've been told.
But I also understand the hustle and the grind. I've been there. And as a college student, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm working on it. I set myself a time to at least be home by 10 and be in bed the latest 10:30.
Nice.
Definitely put my phone away.
Yeah.
I have to. I'll leave it. I'll leave it in the bathroom.
It'll keep you wired, man.
Yeah, it will. And I'm guilty of it. Even my laptop.
Me too.
Even my laptop, man. I'm on my laptop, and then once I get hooked onto something and I look at the clock, I'm like, oh, it's almost 2 a.m. I gotta put this away, But yeah, I guess that's what it's about: improving and seeing what you could fix to be better.
And that's the thing, you gotta experiment and find out, because everyone's different. Everyone's different. There's not a one-size-fits-all guide.
That's
so
right.
you got to try things out and see what works best for you, because what works good for me may not work good for you.
That's right.
So, yeah, that's what I tell a lot of my clients, these people that I have on the programs. Hey, these things you should avoid, but the rest you got to figure out on your own. You got to experiment. This is what I do. You can try that. But if it's not working for you, you got to make some adjustments and figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that a lot of people are lazy. They don't want to do they just want the cheat code, the pill that you take.
Want the magic pill.
Boom.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. So, but there's a lot of people that are interested in experimentation too. So there's to each their own,
You got to find your inner scientist in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's and I found mine with biohacking. Biohacking. Like I read all the science on it, learned all the research on it, and I was like, okay, let me try this. I didn't like that. I didn't like a 2-hour session in one day of sauna, but you know what? I did like 30 to 45 hour session in the sauna, finishing with the cold plunge. But that doesn't work for everyone either. Some people can stand the sauna that long. Other people can't. It's just what works for you. Yeah.
No, totally. And I love that you said that. Scientist. Sometimes I've had people say, well, you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I am a scientist. And I do research and I test things out, and I'll let you know what works for me. You can take my account and use it for your own reference, but still do your own research and try it out for yourself and determine from there. It's like, don't just take something I'm saying and do it because I said it. Like, go figure it out yourself and do what works for you. Yeah, man, that's a great point there.
Do what works for you. I like that. Do what works for you.
For sure.
Figure it out.
Want to wrap it up with a few closing questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's
got
do it.
A few more for you. Normally, I ask people, what would you give 18-year-old Alex some advice? But you're 23. I don't know. You got advice for 18-year-old Alex?
I do.
Let's hear it.
Stay focused.
Okay.
Stay focused and look at the goal.
Okay.
Yeah. Trust the process.
Trust the process. Beautiful.
Trust the process.
Beautiful. Yeah. What about top 3 favorite books?
Ooh.
First that come to mind.
Laws of Power.
Laws of Power.
That's
okay. Is that the 48 Laws
48,
of Power?
Yeah, 48 Laws of Power.
Robert Greene.
Yeah, Robert Greene. Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Hey,
that's a good one. That's a
banger.
go-to. Right now, I just picked up Atomic Habits.
Okay.
So
I've seen that one.
I'm on that one. Someone gifted to my fiance, and then I noticed she wasn't reading it just yet. So I was like, let me get some spoilers in for you. But the Bible, man. The Bible.
Absolutely.
So many books in the Bible. Yeah.
Totally. Where can people find you?
People can find me here. No, I'm just playing. They can find me on my social medias at _manriq on Instagram or Facebook under Alex Manriquez. Or you can always find me at the lab at Arctic Labs. I'm pretty much always there. You can find me through my juicing company. You can find me through my vending machines.
What was this guy? Is this your juicing company?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. You want me to hold it?
Sure. Yeah, I'll throw a picture on the video just so people can get a better look. But
right here is Living Water. Yeah, you can find me through there. Yeah, you can find me if there's music. Chances are I'm there. You can find me. I'm everywhere between Texas and New Mexico. But yeah, people want to find me through social media.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure, Alex.
No,
look, Jared, had a blast.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you at the lab.
Can't wait to see you there. We're gonna do it.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.